Okay, welcome everybody to your afternoon or evening of Nourish whenever you happen to tune in to our recording this afternoon. And we are going to start today reclined on our backs. And I invited each person today to grab a blanket or a pillow or a couple of towels and something like a yoga belt if you have it, or any kind of belt that you use, or a stretchy exercise band would also do the trick when we get to that part of our practice. So come on down to your back if you, excuse me, haven't done so already. And you're going to take that blanket or pillow or towels and you're going to roll them up or fold them up, and you're going to place them underneath your knees when you lie on your back. And if you're feeling any discomfort in your lower back, you're going to want to make that prop underneath your knees just a bit higher. So take a moment to get what you need and settle onto your mat. If you find that you want something a little under your head and neck, go ahead and grab that. And with your legs resting over some kind of support underneath your knees, let your arms and your shoulders come to rest somewhere along the body. If it feels okay for your shoulders, rotate so that your hands are turned up towards the ceiling with your palms upward. And if that creates discomfort for your shoulders, go ahead and turn your palms back down towards the ground. And maybe from here, you choose to soften your gaze directly above you on the ceiling. Maybe you choose to allow your eyes to come to a full close. And as we collect ourselves together in our own bodies and breaths and in the circle of this practice, let us come into a moment of silence and deeper connection to our own practice. And use these next few moments to take a little scan through your body and to notice anything that might be showing itself from within. Any areas or spaces within the body that might feel any tightness or tension or discomfort. And assure the body that you will nurture and take care of that part of your experience today through the practice. And then turn your awareness to your breath. And without changing or manipulating your breath in any way, simply begin to feel the reflection of the breath moving in and moving out. Let your awareness move through the body wherever the body feels sensation from the movement of the breath. The mind starting to float through each and every sensation. The thoughts just moving through a wider awareness of the breathing experience. Sense how much air you take into the body and how much air you release out. Feel the quality of the movement, the textures, the shapes, the vibrations that that movement creates through the deeper layers of your body. As you next exhale, start to see if you can get a little emptier by engaging your abdominal muscles. When you're ready to take air in, let the belly muscles soften and let the air come in. With every exhale, see if you can get a little emptier with your release. Feel a stronger engagement of the belly muscles underneath your navel, around the outer corners of your ribs. When you're ready to feed the body with air, release that engagement through the belly. Let that release of the engagement also release a little layer of tension held here as the breath moves in. Continue this process of emptying each exhaling breath, toning the deep abdominal muscles, feeling that toning release any deeply held tension through the belly. Softening out of that tension and into a fuller and deeper experience of an inhale breath. Continue this process at your own pace for the next 3 or so rounds of breathing. The next time that you naturally reach your empty point, hold the breath out. Feel the physical needs that start to arise in the body. Notice how the mind begins to hold on to that need. Can it find a place of humanity and compassion with what's arising? When the need is strong, take the breath in by softening the belly. Allow the air to move into the body and then find a natural pattern once again of breathing in and breathing out. Allow the mind to float through the body like the air. To change shapes, to move with fluidity and freedom. Start to rotate your head very gently from side to side as if you were saying no. And use this movement to bring awareness to stronger sensations through the muscles of your neck. To feel the quality of motion as you turn to the left side and to your right side. To notice as the mind either moves with that experience or grapples with any part of it. The next time that your face turns towards your left chin, hold to that side. Without lifting your head away from the floor, start to nod your head a little as if you were nodding yes. So your head is still rotated towards your left side, but you're nodding yes a little bit. And just feel how that creates a line of sensation between the base of your right ear all the way down towards your collarbone, maybe even towards your shoulder blade. Release any movement from your neck and head. Bring your head back to neutral and stay there. Pause here, just feeling the reflection of that rotation and that movement. Rotate your chin now towards your right shoulder. Maintaining that rotation to the right and your head to the ground, start to make little movements in your head and neck like you're nodding the word yes. Feel the subtleties of that motion through the left side of your neck, maybe even all the way down towards your collarbone. And any movement in your head and neck. And then roll your head back to neutral, chin in line with your chest. Draw your right knee up over your torso. Take your belt or whatever you might have if you have it and place it around your right foot. And then don't straighten your knee all the way, but straighten it maybe about 75% of the way so that your foot starts to point up towards the ceiling. If whatever you're holding on to is long enough, bring your elbows and upper arms back down to the floor. Now, I realize that what you're using might not be long enough. So if you're holding with your hands in the air, just try to maintain some softness through your shoulders. Now, if you don't have something to place around your foot, that's okay. Just take your hands and hold on to the top part of your leg somewhere. And now, whatever you're using to hold on to the leg, start to use that to circle your leg in little circles right over your hip. And feel that motion where the leg bone enters the hip socket and where the back of your pelvis meets the earth. Let your awareness widen to the sensation through the muscles at your hip, maybe even into the sensation of your low back. At some part of your next circle, start to motion that leg in the opposite direction. Keep widening your awareness. Feel the motion of the leg back up through your arms and through your shoulders. Feel the quality of the leg's motion as it is expressed through the quality of your own breath. Use the next circle or circle after that to bring that leg straight back over your hip again and hold the leg here in your stretch. If you want, you can extend the knee fully, press your heel up towards the sky. And holding this static stretch, bring your awareness back to your breath once again. Over the next 5 cycles of breath, get emptier each time you exhale. Use the toning of your abdominal muscles to release a little emptier. Use that base of emptiness as a place to start filling. The toning of the abdominal muscles, releasing tension and creating more suppleness, more fluidity. The next time that you exhale empty, hold empty. When you need to take air, soften the belly, Take air into the body and release that leg back down onto the support and onto your mat. Feel the qualities of the leg, of the hip. Maybe it feels a little longer or slightly more spacious. Bring your other leg now up over your hip. And if you have some kind of a belt or something, go ahead, place that around your foot. Otherwise, just hold on to the top of your thigh. You're going to straighten your knee, but just to about 75%. And then whatever you're using to hold the foot or the leg, use that to start taking that leg in little circles right over your hip. Right, and we use the body and movement in the body of yoga to really fine tune our awareness, to become more in alignment with what our body needs, with what our minds and our heart need. Feel the circle, not just at the center of the circle, but the ripples of the circle that happen all the way out through your entire body. The ripples of the circle through your breath. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and start taking the leg in circles the opposite direction. Feel each circle as a way to explore the inner experience of the body and the breath. Use your next circle or two circles to bring that leg back to stillness over your hip. Allow the shoulders to find that quality of softness and leaning into the ground underneath you. You could start to straighten that knee more. You could dorsiflex your foot and ankle, pressing your heel more up towards the ceiling. Each of these little subtle changes will change the quality of your experience. And then bring your attention to the experience of breath. And use the next 4 to 5 rounds of your breathing to get emptier on every release. To start to manipulate the breath and the energy of the body in such a way that we release tension, we create space. The next time that you get empty, hold the breath out. As the breath is held out, step back and watch the entirety of the experience. When you need to take air into the body. Feel the release of tension through the muscles of the belly. And allow that leg to find its resting place once again over your support and over your mat. And feel the effects of that motion, the more subtle qualities and the effects of the breath. From here, bend your knees and bring both of your feet to your mat. You can use your feet to kind of push or slide whatever support you had there forward a little more or off of your mat entirely. Once you are settled, bring your feet and knees so that they're about hip distance apart, maybe as wide as your pelvis, but no wider than that. And then take your arms down by your side so that your palms are now touching down towards the floor. We're going to keep our pelvis on the floor, but I'm going to give some opportunities for some more spinal movement. And after we start together with a few breaths. So moving just through the pelvis and your arms without lifting your pelvis, draw your pubic bone towards your belly button, feel that flatten out your back, and then reach your arms straight up towards the ceiling and bring them towards the ground by your head. Take your arms forward to the ground, press your tailbone down towards the floor, and feel that arch your middle back off the mat or your low back off the mat. Good. Again, pelvis stays down. Draw pubic bone to belly button, flattening out the low back, arms to your head. Arms back down by your sides. Press your tailbone to the ground like you're smushing a raisin. You'll feel your lower back arch up away from the ground. Good. Continue just this pelvic and arm movement for a few more cycles of breath here. Make sure that the range of motion through your low spine here is not creating any pinching or any discomfort anywhere. Make sure that your motion is not creating any disturbance in the fluidity and the freedom of your breath. Now, for those of you that want some more spinal motion here, the next time that you draw a pubic bone towards your belly button and float your arms up, also lift your pelvis away from the floor. And then as your arms come back down, you're going to lower any part of your spine that's lifted and your pelvis back down. And so you can continue with just the pelvic rocking with the arms, just as we all started together. You can lift and lower your hips. If you choose to go into more spinal motion here, again, please make sure that whatever you're doing is not creating any disturbance in your low back or in your breath. Continue whatever you're doing. Whatever your motion is, start to get emptier and emptier each time you exhale. So you continue your movement, just get emptier and emptier with the exhale. You might find that with the movement of the body and at this point of your practice, you start to naturally get fuller with the inhale. The next time that your pelvis is neutral on the floor and your arms are down by your sides, end the motion of the body and allow your breath to naturally flow in and out. Bring your right knee bent up over your torso and interlace your hands either behind your leg or around your shin. So whatever keeps more comfort for you in your shoulders and arms really is what you want to think about here. Now, if it feels okay for you, go ahead and slide your left leg flat to the ground. If that hurts your back, keep your left foot bent with your foot to the floor. If you have the left leg straight, please dorsiflex your foot and ankle. Press your left heel away. Good. Everybody, on your next exhale, get as empty as you can. As you come to that point of emptiness, draw that right thigh a little closer to your trunk and stay there as you breathe in. When you reach your next exhale, get as empty as you can again. Stay empty this time. While you're empty, lift your head and shoulders off the floor. Good. Everybody take a breath in. Get as empty as you can again. Stay empty. If you have that left leg straight to the ground, lift it 1 inch off of the floor. If you have your foot bent, stay where you are. Knee bent, stay where you are. Good. Everybody, breath in when you're ready. Leg is down if it's lifted. Everybody, head to the mat. Keep holding that right leg. Rotate your head again a few times from side to side, like you're saying no. Bring your head back to neutral. And now take that right foot and place the sole of your foot to the mat with your knee bent. Bring your left leg up over your trunk, either hands around the shin or behind your thigh. Again, softness through the shoulders, space through your neck. Right leg can come down to the floor, foot and ankle dorsiflexed. You may or may not do the same thing you did on your first side. Start to get emptier with each exhaling breath. The next time you're naturally empty, stay empty. Get that thigh a little closer to your ribs. Hold the thigh there. Breathe towards that thigh bone. When you naturally reach the exhale again, get empty, stay empty. Lift your head and shoulders up. Take your breath in. Head is still lifted, get empty again. Maybe you stay just as you are, one more breath. Maybe you lift that right leg straight off the ground, just 1 inch. Good, everybody inhale. Head to the floor, straight leg to the floor if it's lifted. Rotate your head side to side. You're still holding your left leg. Bring your head back to center. And now release your left leg down to the mat flat. If it feels okay to have both of your legs straight down to the floor, stay here with both of your feet and ankles dorsiflex. That means your toes are pulling back towards your knees. If this creates disturbance in your low back, go ahead, bend your knees and take your feet to the floor. Bring your arms up to the ground by your head and turn your palms so that they're facing one another. The tips of your thumbs are going to be down towards the floor. They might be touching the floor. Now, regardless of what you're doing with your legs, draw your pubic bone slightly towards your belly button just to flatten out that lower back a tad. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Now exhale strong through your mouth. Get as empty as you can. Draw strength through those deep abdominal muscles. Hold your breath out once you find emptiness. Watch what happens with the body and the mind. Receive the spaciousness that comes from this unsteadiness. When you're ready to breathe, take an inhale, let the belly muscles soften. Now exhale, pull both of your knees over your belly and take hold of one leg into each hand. Maybe you rock a little here, side to side. And if you're rocking side to side, come to a neutral position in your pelvis and with your back and head. Now take your palms and place them right to the front of your thigh bones. Your fingers are going to be pointing towards your kneecaps. And just straighten your arms and push your legs away from your trunk. So this should actually take the lower sacrum down to the floor so that your tailbone's not curling up off of the mat. Now dorsiflex both of your feet and ankles, please. All right, keep your legs where they are, but start to pull them in the direction of your hands, right? So nothing's going to really move because your hands are kind of creating a roadblock here. Now, next exhale, same thing. Big inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Get as empty as you can. Stay empty. Don't let your legs move. Lift your head and shoulders up off the ground towards your thigh bones. Take an inhale here. Good. Now exhale, lower your head and shoulders back down to the floor and hug your knees over your ribs. Maybe you rock side to side once again. Perhaps you take a little child's pose here. Bring any movement that you might be exploring to stillness. Bring your feet back down to the floor with your knees bent. Excuse me, from here, roll to either your left or to your right side to come off of your back. And come up onto your hands and knees from here. If you need to grab that blanket or towel to support yourself underneath your knees, please go ahead and grab that. You can place a little padding under your kneecaps. You can lift your kneecaps off the ground entirely. Stack your leg bones underneath your hips, your arms underneath your shoulders. Ground nice and evenly across the palms and all 10 fingerprints. When you feel stable through your arms and your legs, begin some cat tuck and cat lift movement. And feel the greater freedom through the movement in your spine with the pelvis free to move up away from the floor. You can bring more head movement now into this pelvic and spinal motion versus when we were on the floor. Take just another cycle of breath with your movement. And then come to a neutral pelvis and spine. Tuck your right toes under and just slide those toes to the ground straight behind your hip. Bring your left arm forward to align with your left ear. The next time that you exhale, draw toning through your deep abdominal muscles. Get as empty as you can. Once you're empty, pause there. Lift your right toes away from the mat. Maintain the stability. Take your breath here. Good. One more cycle of breath. Bring your hand to the floor and then bend your right knee and bring that foot all the way forward, establishing a low lunge. Now, family, if you need something underneath that left knee here, go ahead, take a moment and get that under there to support your knee. If you don't have blocks, that's okay. I'm not going to lead anything with blocks. Go ahead, take your hands onto that right thigh to elevate your torso. Make sure that you have enough spacing left to right between that back knee and your front foot so that you don't feel off balance here. And then take your arms down by your sides, palms forward. Good. Now start to just reach down through the webbing of your fingers as if you were trying to touch the floor here. Maintain that outward reach through the webbing. Lift your arms straight up to the height of your shoulders. Your thumbs are pointing up. Bring your arms in front of you. Now cross your left elbow on top of your right elbow. Bend your right elbow only and draw those left fingers towards the right side of your mat. Take one more breath here. Release the crossing of your elbows. Take your hands down to the floor. And now bring that knee back underneath you again. Hands firmly, yet softly planted on the mat. Tuck your left toes under. Just slide that leg straight back behind, toes to the floor. Bring your right arm straight forward by your right ear. On your next exhale, get empty. Draw stability and strength through your deep abdominals. Hold the breath out. Lift your left toes off the floor. Maintain the stability. Take the breath in. Expand your awareness all the way through the body of the experience. Bring your hand to the floor, bend that knee, and now take that foot forward. Establish that low runner's lunge. Again, anything under that back knee that you need for support. Take your hands to that front leg and lift your torso up. Nice. Arms down by your side, palms are forward. And start to reach down through the webbing of your fingers. See if that creates a subtle difference in the space between the tops of your shoulders and the base of your earlobes. Take your arms out to the height of your shoulders. Bring your arms in front of you. This time, right elbow is to the top. Draw the right fingers towards the left side of your mat. One more breath here. Good. Uncross your elbows, take your hands down to the mat, and then bring that knee back underneath you once again, table position, hands firm but soft to the floor under your shoulders. Good. From here, family, tuck all 10 toes underneath. Press down into your palms. On your next exhale, firm through your abdominal muscles. Draw that belly up toward your spine. Get as empty as you can. Hold your breath out. Once you're empty, lift your knees just up over the mat. Take an inhale here. And then your choice, knees back down to table position, or lift your hips and come up into a little bit of a dynamic down dog. So that was your choice, family. Your up and down dog, or you brought knees back to the floor and you can do a little cat tuck and cat lift here. All right, one more breath, whatever you're doing. All right. If you're in down dog, start to walk your feet towards your hands. If you're in table position, start to walk your hands towards your knees. And then everybody very carefully come up to your feet. Okay. All right. So if you want to, excuse me, follow my orientation, you can turn towards the long edge of your mat, but it's not absolutely necessary. Take a bit of a wide stance between your 2 feet and legs. So you can see I'm probably just about my leg distance here. Toes and knees are oriented towards the long edge of the mat. Turn your left toes and knee and hip towards the short edge. And then bend that left knee and bring it right over that left ankle. Draw your arms out to about shoulder height and now gaze out over your left hand. Take one more breath here. Expand your awareness all the way through the body of your experience. Now bring your left arm or your left hand onto your left thigh, right? So I can stay up a little higher here, or I can come down to here. Take your right arm into some big circles once you stabilize wherever you want to on that left side. And then circle back the opposite way. Use your next circle to take your right hand to your outer right hip. Now press down into your feet, lift your torso up, left hand to your left hip. Straighten your left knee, turn your toes to the long edge of your mat. And so your hands are on your hips. Keep a soft knee long back. Lift a little through the tail and start to hinge forward. You're going to come maybe halfway forward, but not necessarily that far. Root evenly through the inner and outer arches of your feet. The next time that you exhale, get as empty as you can and hold empty. While you're empty, lift your trunk all the way back up. Release your arms down and take the breath. Turn your right toes, knee, and hip towards the other edge of your mat and bend the right knee, bringing it right over or just behind that ankle. Arms out to T position. Turn to gaze out softly over your right arm. Feel the shape of the breath as it travels through the shape of the body. Allow the thoughts of the mind to travel just like the air through the cells. One more breath. From here, right hand or right arm on your right leg. Once you're steady there, start to circle your left arm. And circle back the other way. Use your next circle to take your left hand back to your left hip here. And press down to the floor, lift your torso up, right hand to your right hip, straighten your right leg, turn the toes and knee back toward your long edge. Good, soft knees moving at your pelvis, hinge forward, maybe about halfway. The next time that you exhale, get as empty as you can and pause with your breath held out. While you're empty, press down towards your feet, lift your torso all the way up. Once you're up, arms down, take the breath. Bring your feet and legs just a little closer together. So now I'm just a little wider than my pelvis. Now turn everything to face the short edge on your left side so that you're in a scissored stance now with your left leg forward and your right leg behind you. Take your arms and either clasp opposite elbows at your waist or interlace fingers at your low back. You choose. Whichever one you choose, draw your shoulder blades together. If you're in yoga mudra with your hands interlaced, make sure that you don't lock out your elbows, please. Keep a nice soft bend in your elbow joints. Good, now everybody lift tall through the crown of your head and feel a broadening across your shoulders and chest. Bring your arms from behind you and into goalpost or cactus position. Soft knees, hinge at your pelvis, come forward about halfway. Now, this is going to be a really small move, family. Pull your elbow tips back towards one another. One more breath here. Press down to your feet, lift all the way up. Let your arms come down And now take your left fingers around your right forearm behind you. Drop your head forward to your chest. Roll your head to the left, taking your left ear over your left shoulder. Roll your head forward, chin to chest. Lift your head, crown lifting towards the sky. Release your arms, let them come by your sides. Turn everything back towards the long edge of your mat. And then now to your right side so that you're in a scissored stance with your right leg forward and your left leg behind you. Bring your arms behind you. Again, you can choose clasp opposite forearms or interlace fingers at your sacrum. Whichever you choose, draw the shoulder blades together to pull your arm bones slightly back. Maintain openness through the front of your chest, length through the front of your ribs here. Lift upward through the crown of your head, lengthen downward through both heels. Let your mind flow through the body with the breath. Release your arms from behind you and bring them to a cactus or a goalpost position. Soft through the knees, long through the spine, hinge forward, coming maybe about halfway. And again, this move is relatively small. Pull your elbows towards one another at your back. One more breath here. Good. Get tall, crown of your head lifts towards the sky. Take your arms behind you once again, this time right fingers around your left forearm. Drop your chin to your chest and then roll your head to the right, right ear over right shoulder. Roll your head forward, chin to chest. Release your arms. This time you're going to step your back leg forward to meet your front leg. Turn your palms forward, lengthen down through the webbing of your fingers. Feel space between the ears and the shoulders. Lengthen up through the crown of your head. Take a slow, deep breath in. Release all the air out. Once you're completely empty, pause empty. Take your hands to the front of your thighs. Start to walk your hands down to your knees. When you get just above your knee joints, stay there. Take the breath in. Exhale, get empty again. Hold empty. Walk your hands down to just below your kneecaps. Stay there. Take the breath in. Last time, family, get empty. Once you're completely empty, stay here or walk your hands down as close as you would like to the earth. Stay there and take a few breaths. Start to bend your knees as much as you need to get your hands to the floor. Take either leg back behind you, bring the knee down, take the other knee back. We're going to transition to sit here. So grab something to sit up on. It might be a bolster or a blanket or two or a block, whatever is going to give you good freedom in your hips, some space in your knees and your low back. And once you have whatever you need to sit comfortably on, arrange your legs however you would like. And then let your hands just rest comfortably on your lap. They can be palms up, they can be palms down. It doesn't matter which. And let your gaze rest forward towards the floor or bring your eyes to a full close. And begin to turn your awareness back to the sensations of your breath. And feel the welcoming of the breath into the body. Feel also the qualities of welcoming and hospitality in the release. The next time that you exhale, get as empty as you can and hold the breath out. Feel as that energy surge begins to rise, that little spark coming up deep within. When that need arises, soften through the belly and take air. And then empty out again. Keep toning through the deep abdominal muscles, releasing out all that air. Sit in the emptiness. Welcome it. It is through this deep, dark place under the soil that the seed begins to germinate. When you need to feed it with air, let the belly soften, take the air in. Feel the air nourish that seed. Repeat that one more time. Exhale, get as empty as you can. Come into that place of emptiness. Hold steady here. Welcome that darkness and all that germinates underneath the surface. When you're ready to nourish that seed again, take air. And then let the winds flow. Feel the breath move naturally in and out. Steady the mind on the movement of the breath. Create hospitality and welcoming of our experiences through the breath. Feed yourself with the breath. Breathe, said the wind. How can I breathe at a time like this, when the air is full of the smoke of burning tires and burning lives? Just breathe, the wind insisted. Easy for you to say, if the weight of injustice is not wrapped around your throat, cutting off the air. I need you to breathe. I need you to breathe. Don't tell me to be calm when there are so many reasons to be angry, so much cause for despair. I didn't say to be calm, said the wind. I said to breathe. We're going to need a lot of air to make this hurricane together. Breathe, by Lynn Ungar. Feel the steadiness of your own breath. That steadiness of the breath is here to remind us to keep moving. To germinate those seeds of truth within us. To nourish that which needs to be nourished and to tend to that which needs to be released. Breathe. Bring your palms to unite in front of your heart and bow your head, honoring the breath. We give gratitude for the breath of our own bodies and the collective breath that we share together. And we use our breath not just to nourish ourselves, but to nourish the lives around us. And to lend our air to those who are depleted. Take a slow, deep breath in and release. May we all remember to breathe. And may we all remember who we are through the breath. Om Shanti, Jai Shanti, Jai Bhagwan.